Welcome back, everyone. World Baseball News for the week of October 24th. So much to talk about today with the first two games of the Japan Series played over the weekend, the KBO playoffs down to just 3 teams, the CPBL playoffs beginning this weekend, and 2 winter leagues just getting started, and of course more big news from the World Baseball Classic. Pools for the newly qualified WBC teams were announced last week. Now we know where all 20 teams will be playing. Panama, after dominating the qualifier in their own country, have been placed in Pool A in Taichung. Czech Republic are in Pool B at Tokyo Dome. Great Britain, the surprise team from the European qualifier, go to Pool C in Phoenix. And Nicaragua head to Miami, Pool D. Forgot which teams are in which pools? Here you go. Pool A, Taiwan, Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, and Panama. Pool B, Japan, Korea, Australia, China, and the Czech Republic. Pool C, USA, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, and Great Britain. Pool D, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Israel, and Nicaragua. And if you've got Fox Sports, you'll be able to see it all there. They will be the exclusive home to the WBC, airing all 47 games of the tournament. That was announced last Friday. Japan has not announced any of their commitments yet. You probably won't hear of any until they've got a complete roster. The biggest name in Japanese baseball, Shohei Ohtani, has hinted in past weeks that he wants to participate, and the Angels gave him the okay to pitch and hit in the Classic a little while back. But since he's worried about throwing too many innings and trying to stay close to his usual preseason routine, he suggested he might be the team's closer or possibly a middle reliever. Closer seems like the more likely option. This would be interesting since he would be the team's closer/DH, something I don't think we've ever seen before. Not only that, it could be a preview of what's to come later on in Ohtani's career. When he gets up there in years, the physical stress of being a full-time DH and a starting pitcher might be too much, and he might end up in the bullpen while still being an everyday hitter. He'd still like to be a starting pitcher in the WBC, but he said if that's the case, he'll have to start his spring routine earlier than usual, so Japan will have to decide soon how they're going to use him on the mound. Team Cuba asked Chunichi Dragons hitter Dayan Viciedo to participate in the WBC. At first glance, it doesn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. Cubans playing in NPB have often suited up for Cuba, in the WBC and other international tournaments. The difference here is that Viciedo is a defector. Some star Cuban players are given permission to go play in Japan or Mexico, and they return to Cuba in the off-season and at the end of their playing careers. Viciedo defected from Cuba in 2008, played in MLB from 2010 to 2014, and has been in NPB since 2016, where he's been doing quite well. Some will be hopeful that this could be a first step toward one day having the best Cuban players in MLB combined with the best in the Cuban National Series for a united Cuban team in the WBC. However, Viciedo has declined the invitation. One country that's having no problem filling up its roster is Team Mexico. 30-year-old right-hander Taiwan Walker, a 10-year Major League veteran, has become the latest commit after a 2022 season with the Mets where he was 12-5 with a 3.49 ERA in 29 starts. Mexico is almost complete on the field. In the outfield, they've got Randy Arozarena, Alex Verdugo, and Joey Meneses. Isaac Paredes and Rowdy Tellez on the corners, just missing someone at second and short. Catcher Austin Barnes. In the rotation, they've got Julio Arias, Walker, Jose Urquidy, and Javier Assad, plus 3 arms in the bullpen. Still more spaces to fill, but so far it's looking really good. The 2022 Japan Series got started with games 1 and 2 on Saturday and Sunday last weekend at Meiji Jingu Stadium in Tokyo, between the Central League champion Tokyo Yakult Swallows and the Pacific League champion Oryx Buffaloes, a rematch of last year's Japan Series, won by the Swallows in 6. Game 1 starters on Saturday, the aces for both teams, Yasuhiro Ogawa for the Swallows. For the Buffaloes, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yamamoto had not lost a game since July 16th, but that did not intimidate the Swallows hitters. In the bottom of the first, Jose Osuna hit a 2-run double along the third base line to give the Swallows an early 2-0 lead. A controversial call. It looked like it may have been foul, but it was called fair. Buffalo struck back in the second with an RBI single from Kotaro Kuribayashi and a bases-loaded walk to Shuhei Fukuda to make it 2-2. Swallows got a pair of solo home runs from Yasutaka Shiomi in the third and from Jose Osuna in the fourth. It was the first time since August of 2020 that Yamamoto gave up 2 homers in a single game. He left the game after 4 innings, his shortest start ever. Injury was the reason, but it turned out to not be serious, and he'll be able to start again if the series goes to 6 or 7 games. Ogawa came out after 5 and there was no scoring till the 8th. Takahiro Okada with a pinch hit RBI single made it a 4-3 game. In the bottom of the 8th, Munetaka Murakami broke his silence with a solo blast that made it 5-3 Swallows. In the 9th, with Swallows closer Scott McGuff on the mound, the Buffaloes put runners on first and second with only 1 out, but couldn't bring them in. Swallows hung on for a 5-3 win to take a 1-0 lead in the series. Game 2 Sunday, Cy Snead got the start for the Swallows. Sachiya Yamasaki took the mound for the Buffaloes. Yamasaki's biggest moment was not on the mound but at the plate. In the third inning, he batted in the first run of the game on an RBI single. He would later score on an error to make it 2-0 Buffaloes. In the fifth, an infield single from Yutaro Sugimoto made it 3-0 Buffaloes. That score would hold till the bottom of the ninth, when 20-year-old Soma Uchiyama hit a 3-run blast to tie it up and send it to extra innings. Both teams would threaten, but neither could score as the game ended in a 3-3 tie. Swallows' lead in the series remains at 1-0. The game lasted 5 hours and 3 minutes, the second longest in the history of the Japan series. The series moves over to the Kyocera Dome in Osaka for games 3, 4, and 5 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The series could end there, but if not, games 6 and 7 will be on Saturday and Sunday, once again back in Tokyo. If neither team has won 4 games after Game 7, they will play a Game 8 with no extra innings limit. So by the end of this week, Game 7 will be done, but the series might still be going. In Korea, only 3 teams remain in the KBO playoffs. Heading into last week, there were 4. The Kiwoom Heroes and the KT Wiz were tied at 1 apiece in their best-of-5 series, with the LG Twins awaiting the winner for the next series. Game 3, Wednesday, Heroes got busy right away. In the first inning, a 3-run homer from Yasiel Puig gave the Heroes the early lead. In the third, they added 2 more, the second driven in by Puig again. Wiz ace Young Pyo-ko was taken out in that inning, and the Wiz were never really in this one. Heroes won 9-2 to take a 2-1 series lead. Game 4, Thursday, Heroes again struck first on a first-inning RBI single from Jung-hoo Lee. Each team scored in the third, and it was 2-1 Heroes. Wiz put up a couple in the fifth to take their first lead of the game 3-2. They led 3-2 in the seventh when Jae-gyun Hwang hit a 2 RBI double to extend their lead, and they would hang on to it. Wiz 9-6 in Game 4, tying the series at 2 each, and sending it to a deciding Game 5. Game 5, Saturday, it was the Wiz striking first on an RBI double from Anthony Alford, the first of 4 hits he had for the day. Heroes evened it up in the second on an RBI triple from Byung-woo Jun. It was 2-1 Wiz in the fourth when the Heroes grabbed their first lead on a 2-run homer from Sung-mun Song. Each team added 1 more after that. Jae-woon Kim closed it out by retiring the last 4 batters, and the Heroes won this one 4-3 to win the series 3-2. The defending Korean Series champion KT Wiz are out. Game 1 of the Heroes Twin Series is going on right now. Game 2 will be tomorrow. Wednesday is a travel day. Games 3 and 4 on Thursday and Friday. If necessary, Game 5 will be on Sunday. And then we'll be all set for the Korean Series to begin next week. In Taiwan, the CPBL playoffs begin this weekend. Just a few regular season games left to be played, but everything has been decided. Going into last week, we knew the Monkeys, Brothers, and Dragons were the 3 playoff teams. Dragons number 3 for sure. But between the Monkeys and Brothers, we didn't know which team would have to face the Dragons and which one would go straight to the Taiwan series. Monday, the first of 2 makeup games, Monkeys over Guardians 9-4. Tuesday, it was the Guardians coming out on top 2-1. Shipeng Chen threw 6 innings and allowed only 1 to improve to 8-6. Wednesday, Lions over Monkeys 7-6. Chie-Shin Chen had 3 hits, a home run, and 4 RBI. Brothers were 8-3 winners over the Dragons. Kai Wen Cheng tossed 6 scoreless to improve to 8-3 for the season. This brought the Brothers' magic number for the second half season title down to 1. Big day on Thursday. A Brothers win or a Monkeys loss clinches the second half title for the Brothers. A Brothers win and a Monkeys loss would make it a tie in the overall standings. A Brothers loss and a Monkeys win clinches the best overall record for the Monkeys. Dragons jumped out to an 8-0 lead and spoiled it for the Brothers, beating them 11-5. Galigalao Gongkwan had 3 hits, 2 batted in, and 2 times across the plate. Monkeys took full advantage, shutting out the Lions 4-0. And clinching the best overall record for the season, earning a spot in the Taiwan series. This means the Brothers will have to face the Dragons in a best-of-5 series to see who gets the other spot in the Taiwan series. But the remaining games were not meaningless. There was still the second half title to be decided. If the Brothers get that, they get a ghost win for their series with the Dragons. Friday, Brothers still couldn't get the job done, blanked by the Dragons 2-0. Buddy Bauman, in his CPBL debut, tossed 7 scoreless for the win. And Guardians held on to beat the Lions 5-3. Saturday, Monkeys grabbed an early 2-0 lead and led all the way till the 9th. Dragons scored 4 in the top of the 9th. Monkeys answered with 3 of their own to tie it at 5. No scoring from either team in the final 3 innings, resulting in a tie game. And that is how the Brothers would clinch the second half title. Not the most exciting way to clinch a title, but they'll take it. Sunday, Brothers won their final game of the season 8-6 over the Monkeys. Third baseman Chao Ming-tu had 3 hits, a home run, and 3 batted in. Jose De Paula got the win, ending another great season with 14 wins and 4 losses. And the Guardians scored 4 runs in the 8th to get past the Lions 4-1. Second half standings, a few games left, but nothing's going to change now. Brothers finish at the top, followed by the Monkeys, Guardians, Dragons, and Lions. Overall standings, Monkeys edged out the Brothers for the best record. They go to the Taiwan series. Brothers second, Dragons third, Lions fourth, and Guardians fifth. The regular season will end on Wednesday the 26th. Playoffs begin on Saturday the 29th. Brothers versus Dragons in best of 5. As half-season champion, the Brothers start with a 1-0 lead in the series. You can watch that and the Taiwan series on CPBL TV. If you don't have a season subscription, you can get one for the playoffs for only about $6. Link is in the description. In Mexico, Week 2 of the LMP season. Leader at the moment is Naranjeros de Hermosillo at 8-3. They were 4-2 last week, losing 2 out of 3 to Águilas before sweeping Tomateros on the weekend. Second place at 7-4 is Algodoneros de Guasave. They were also 4-2 last week, winning both of their series over Cañeros and Águilas. 4 teams are 6-5, Mayos, Águilas, Venados, and Cañeros. Tomateros are 5-6, Sultanes and Yaquis 4-7. Charros are last at 3-8. They were 1-5 last week, dropping a series to Yaquis before getting swept by Mayos on the weekend. The batting leader is a familiar name in the LMP, Tomateros outfielder Sebastián Elizalde. Through 11 games, his line is .429, .500, .548, with a home run, 2 doubles, and 4 steals. Over to the Dominican League, first full week of the regular season in LIDOM. Tigres del Licey are the early leaders in the standings. They were 4-2 last week. On the weekend, they swept 2 games from Águilas, winning 4-0 on Saturday and 6-0 on Sunday. Leones are off to the worst start at 2-6. So far, Tigres have scored the most runs, highest in team on-base percentage, slugging, and stolen bases. Águilas are the worst in team batting, but first in home runs. Toros are the lowest scoring team with only 18 runs in their first 8 games. Tigres have the best team ERA at 1.91. Toros are the worst at 5.35, yet somehow Toros have won 3 games. A big help for Tigres has been 21-year-old infielder Ronnie Mauricio. He's slashing .441, .487, .735. The league batting leader and the leader in steals with 5. Mauricio is a Mets prospect who played all summer in AA. Opening weekend in Venezuela's LVBP, the 8-team Winter League got started on Saturday. Navegantes del Magallanes began their title defense with their new manager, Yadier Molina. And so far so good. On Saturday, Navegantes beat Tiburones, and on Sunday they beat Tigres in 10 innings for a 2-0 start. Also starting 2-0 is Leones del Caracas with a pair of close wins over Águilas. Tigres second baseman Alexi Amarista was the big hitter on opening weekend. He was 5 out of 10 with a walk and 2 home runs. Amarista spent 7 years in MLB, last appearing for the Rockies in 2017. He played in the LMB over the summer with El Águila de Veracruz. There is one more league that got underway over the weekend, and that is the Cuban League, but not the 16-team Cuban National Series we're used to seeing. That one got started really late last winter and became a spring league that ended last June. Instead, we have the Cuban Elite League, comprised of 6 teams each using players from a few National Series teams in the same geographic area. With all of Cuba's best players compressed into a league of just 6 teams, the level of play should be really good. Not sure if this is going to become an annual competition or if it's just this year to find the best players and get them ready for the WBC next spring. If you want to know more about the Elite Series, I'll link an article from Cuba Dugout that explains everything. Here's a quick look at what's happened so far. Tabacaleros are 2-0 after beating Centrales twice. Agricultores are also 2-0 after winning twice over Portuarios. And Ganaderos beat Cafetaleros. And that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.